Welcome back to the Mullen Performance YouTube channel. I wanted to discuss today garage space. I seen Justin at DIY had put up a poll about how do you work on your car audio, and I thought, that's a good topic for I didn't have anything this week, so I figured, it'd be a good way to show you guys around the garage how I built it, what I was thinking when I built this garage. And they always say build bigger than what you think you need because you will fill it up. And trust me, this garage was full within the first 6 months I had it. So I want to walk you around the garage, show you around a little bit, kind of set this little setup up just to kind of be a little bit more, semi-professional. So let me show you guys around. So when I built this garage, I started planning to get this garage built right before my son was born. My house was built in 1950, and it had a one-car attached garage, and it was tiny. And there was really, the only thing I could work on there was my motorcycle. Now, I used to drag race motorcycles, and it was a perfect, just big enough to have one motorcycle in there, work on it comfortably. You could heat it. It was just the right size for something like that. So I decided, I needed more room. I'd start projects, and, I'm getting too old to lay out in the driveway and fight, jacks and stuff like that and gravel driveways. And I'm too old for that stuff. So I'm like, I want to start the driveway. And then my wife ended up pregnant, and we ended up having a lot of issues with her pregnancy. So this garage kind of had to take a back seat for a little while. And I found a good builder, a guy I know, and I told him what I wanted, and I'd come out here and help when I could. And basically it was just, I have some buddies that do concrete and stuff like that. So it was pretty, I was involved, but not as much as a lot of these other guys. And I'm one of those people that I know when I don't know a lot of stuff about. And if I got to pay somebody to do it, then I will, because, sometimes you just don't have time. And when you're fighting a sick wife that, you're pretty much taking care of 24/7, it's just something you have to do. So luckily, the day this garage was finished, my son was born. So I was so excited to get this garage done. He handed me the papers. I signed it off. And later on that night, I was out at the hospital with our son. So it was kind of bittersweet because I was happy that my son was born, but the garage had to wait. And, family life, because that's what happens. So I wanted this garage. I told the guy, I said, I want to be able to heat it with a matchstick. I've always been in garages that were under insulated. They're hot in the summer. They're cold in the winter. And I didn't want that. So me and him come to an agreement, an understanding that I wanted this built pole barn style. So pole barn style is where they basically put up the corners of they'll do like corner, center corner, and then basically they 2x4 it, and then they insulate it, and then you just put an inside wall. Now, stupid me probably should have painted all these walls before I moved anything in, but like I said, it's family. I had a family to take care of. I didn't have time to paint all this stuff, and I'm a horrible painter anyway. Don't have me paint anything. So I decided that I wanted to, this was going to be, I wanted it big enough to have a lift in it, but the ceilings are a little low, and then after I got my garage door opener put up and everything, having a car lift in here is kind of not really, it's not going to be feasible. So I would have to get like a screw type garage door opener, which I could still do. And that would give me an extra, looks like about a foot up there to lift vehicles up in. This place is just big enough to put a 2-post lift in, or I could do some of the smaller 2-post lifts. But I have to get rid of all this shelving back here, because the shelving, I need width. I don't need length. That's what she said. So what I need to do is, now luckily when I had them pour the floors here, these floors are about 6 to 8 inches thick. And that should be just good enough to put a 2-post lift in here. But what I'm thinking is that I want to go that way. I want to blow this wall out, or not really blow it out. I just want to cut out a doorway and go like another maybe 16 to 18 feet that way with another part of an addition off to the garage. But going back to the walls in here, I had the guy stuff the walls. There's 8 to 10 inch thick insulation in all these walls, all the way around here. Even a garage door, I got an insulated garage door. And I have this little bitty heater up there. And I use like just little bitty space heaters around here. And I can heat this garage up. You know, I could come out here, turn these on, and have this garage up to like, 60 degrees. Even on those days where it's like close to 0. I can have it up to 60 in here within an hour. And that's just these little tiny space heaters in here. I had a long, kind of like baseboard type heater, but my wife was using it. I put it in her office, so because you know how women are, they're always cold. So that heats her office, which it done a great job heating out here. Now I do have an air conditioner here. Now that air conditioner in the summertime can get this garage down to like 60. It could be 95, 98 degrees outside. I mean hot, sweaty, nasty Indiana sticky weather. And it will get down to 60, 65 in here. So this garage there's a 1.5 foot of blow-in insulation up in the attic. And what's funny is that I've never even looked up there. But the guy that was blowing it in, I looked up there right before they put this cover on, and they even spray foamed the cover and put foam on top of that. And I know it was 1.5 foot thick up there when I glanced up there, but I've never stuck my head up there since the day I've gotten this garage. So my plan for this space is that I want this to kind of be my woodworking side, because anybody that knows anything about garages is that when you do car audio, when you make boxes, when you do all that stuff, sawdust gets freaking everywhere. It gets on your tools, it gets on your stuff. You spend 90% of the time cleaning up everything in here because you might have made one speaker box. And I've cut a lot of wood in here, and a lot of it ends up on top of things, and the next thing you know, you get up there and it looks like, there's 5 inches of dust on everything. And I got, my atomic subs here. Yeah, look at this nice professional setup. Look, empty kitty litter containers. This is my retirement plan right here. That's my retirement plan. That's my whole, a couple of my atomics just for I guess eye candy. I had a thought. I laughed because I know Andy's got a couple square kickers sitting behind him, and I laughed because square subwoofers like to stand up a lot easier. I've learned that. It's just little things you learn and you just laugh at. So see that right there? There's a Wolfram brand new. What is that? C2400, and I had the bass knob converted into a Nintendo controller, and I took an old Nintendo controller, sent it to I think it was Shin. I don't know if the guy's still doing it, but the guy was, I think, Shin Holster. If you look him up on Facebook, he converted. He took. I had the AB buttons on it are clear. I got the clear buttons. My buddy had them, and one of them is the power light, and like the A button is the clip light. So when you're looking at the controller, it's pretty neat. I'll have to, if you guys want to see it working one day, the little knobs on the top of it. It's just a neat little thing, just a little neat thing. The guy was real nice, done a great job. He does all sorts of weird bass knob stuff. Good guy to talk to. But this whole garage, I want to expand it. I want this to be my workshop. I want this to be my woodworking shop, and I want that over there to be my car stuff. Because I'd rather have the ceiling height over there, and be able to put a lift over there. And that doesn't have to be as insulated as this over here, because this is kind of my main work area. It's a little 24 by 24, so it's hardly any type of real huge space. But, you know, it's better than laying out the gravel. And I have not, this is all, you know, I have OCD real bad. And this garage makes my OCD flare up, because nothing is, I gotta get some more storage. I gotta get this place cleaned up. This place is a wreck. I do projects, and then, you know, it looks like a bomb went off in here, and I'm about to start another project, which you guys will see here pretty soon. And that's going to take up a lot of space in this garage. So, but if you guys want to see any of my, my old, I got some old, here's an old punch I had. One of the ones I don't know if I blew this one up or what from back in the day, but when I had my 1015s in there, I think I bought a total of maybe 14 of these back in the day, and I blew up like 4 of them and sold some and all that stuff. And got some brand new Pyramid, the Gold Series ones, which are brand new, still in the box. I got some equalizers, some amps. This is, I forget which amp this one is. This is like a power acoustic or something. I don't know. I forget everything. I have no idea. But yeah, I just want to talk about this garage. I hope you guys have good workspace. Having a good workspace makes jobs so much easier. Doing stuff out in the driveway and cutting 2x4s with, you know, a circular saw and trying to rip large pieces of 4x8 is an absolute pain in the ass. So to have the correct tools, or even remotely close to the correct tools. My table saw is actually in the shed. I put it in there just so I could set up some room in here, because it takes up a big chunk of room. You know, if you can ever afford it, if you want to build a garage, if you want to do anything like that, build bigger. That's all I can say. If you think you need a 24 by 24, like originally at the time, this was my budget. But if I should have scrimped and scrapped and waited a little bit longer, because this garage sat for a year before I could even touch it, before my son was, well, my wife was well enough to help with our son. I should have went, you know, I could have went 24 by 30 or 30 by 30, but the budget at the time was 24 by 24. So, one last thing, which I think is neat, is this is my light. This is there was a hotel in Richmond. It's like 200 years old, and they had these double bulb lights. Originally, this place was had the old cast iron gas lights in front of the double bulb gas lights, and they remodeled the place several times over the last like 200 years or 150 years, however long it's been there. And they had redid those posts back in, I think, the 50s or the 60s. So they took out the cast iron ones and they put in cast aluminum ones. So they were going through a remodel, and they took them down, I think it was about 4 years ago. And they were literally taking a bobcat and they were just snipping them off at the base, just knocking them over. And I'm like, God, people just, you know, instead of taking the time just to unbolt them, which even if the bolts were seized, you know, you could have just torched them out or heated them up or cut them off with the sawzall, because you just cut them flush with the ground. They were just taking a bobcat, just popping them off, knocking them over. So luckily, we know the maintenance man down there, and he got a couple of them before they trashed them. And I got one, Dad got one, and I decided to set mine up. I put an eye in it and a couple LED bulbs. And what you can't tell from that out there is that those two globes are plastic, but they're really yellowed from where they had no UV protection built into them because they were so old. Very neat though. It's one of the better things I think I've done to my garage because it lights up my whole yard. Yeah, I mean, just, you know, if you guys want to, I'd show you some of my trophies, but they're like, these things, look at these things, look. I had a whole bunch, look at them, they just fell apart. So like this one is Iasca SPL Shootout from '96. I got second place there. Amateur 1 to 500 watts. There's an ear candy back there from Custom Audio Concepts in 2001. Super Street Division 3 to 4 woofer, third place. There's a stereo in-dash one. That is from '97. Whitley Outlaw SPL, Dayton, Ohio. There's a couple back there. I lost some of them in the shed. Basically ate them. I had them in a box and stuff fell on them and they just fell apart and got destroyed. So I lost like 15 or 16 trophies. But I saved some of my car show trophies, some of my motorcycle racing trophies. I think one of them is from my real father up there from where he won a car show back in the day. It's actually made out of wood, which is kind of neat. But yeah, just guys, I'm just on another me blah 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 on YouTube again because I had nothing else to do. And I'll try to think of something more creative for next week. Some days you just come out here and you just like, hey, maybe I'll talk about having actual, what it's going to take to have content on YouTube, because you got to have projects. That's the struggle I've learned with YouTube, is that if you do any type of weekly YouTube, it's either you sitting here looking like a complete idiot just talking about normal shit that happens in your life or things that you don't really care about because it's just your day-to-day routine. But when it comes to making YouTube content, you got to be creative. You got to do things that people want to watch. And if you're not spending a butt ton of money on projects, like me watching like Cletus McFarland's channel, he's always buying something. And now I know why he's always buying something, because he needs the YouTube content. And, when you get paid for YouTube, that's nice because you get your money back. But when you're small potatoes like me, you can't go out and buy something. You can't go out and spend a couple $1,000s a week or $10,000 a week on random projects just so, you can make that money back on a YouTube channel, because that doesn't happen. Not for people like me. Not yet. So you guys have a good day. Work on your systems. Love your family. Make money. And be good to each other. Have a good one.